I don't know about y'all, but I am so over the smoke in the air. It is just terrible. It's awful. Look, folks, I have to do some more digging on these wildfires that are going on in California. Something just doesn't seem to add up. I don't know what's going on. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime being here in Illinois, and it's so weird that you've got smoke all the way from California coming down into Illinois. Just doesn't it just seems odd. It just seems odd. And I'm just so sick of it. I keep feeling like I feel like there's something on my eyes that's making my vision blurry. But yes, as you heard Tom Davis, the air quality is poor. And I can attest to that. I am very my throat hurts today. I'm stuffed up, and it's got to do with this whole smoke in the air and the haze. I just hate it. And not I'm not happy about it. And I don't know what exactly is going on with these California wildfires, but they got to get that under control. Um, yeah, I have so much to get to today. So much. And you guys can see me live in the studio, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. And on the YouTube, I'm going to have it laid out for you the timeline of Hunter Biden's crimes. That's what I'm going to be getting into here today. Hunter Biden, so many crimes, and the left has attempted to cover up all of these crimes. And I am going to be getting into all of the crimes here exclusively. This is a podcast you are going to want to save. So mark it down in your calendar. 6/28 was the day that Kat went through the entire timeline of Hunter Biden's crimes and how the left attempted to cover him up. And when Hunter Biden implicated Joe Biden, because at the end of the day, folks, Hunter, yeah, he's an idiot. He's a drug addict. He's useless. He's not the guy we want. We want Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, this is the cover up is all about Joe Biden. They want to protect Joe Biden. That's why they're covering up Hunter Biden's crimes, because they want to protect Joe. Next, we're going to listen to the exclusive. Okay, no, it's not exclusive CNN audio of Trump discussing classified documents in 2021. I love how the journalismers do that. They'll say exclusive or bombshell and like, we've got it only. And it's like, oh my gosh, these people are gossipers, they're tabloid, and it's paparazzi. Okay, so I've got the exclusive audio of President Donald Trump discussing these classified documents in 2021. Of so-called classified documents in 2021. We're going to break that down for you, the audio. And folks, this is nothing new. This is nothing new because we already had the transcripts of this conversation that happened between Donald Trump and others. Okay, we already had the transcript. We already saw that he had said these things about these documents. All we have now is the official audio, the official tape that CNN said that they had exclusively. Fact check CNN. It's not exclusive because guess what? I'm going to play it right here. Right? Okay. So San Francisco, also the mayor is attacking Ron DeSantis for calling the city a cesspool. And she claims that the drug and poop lining the streets, the fecal matter lining the streets in San Francisco. It's only just look, it's just a snapshot, okay? It's just a snapshot, and people are taking it out of context. No. All this and more ahead on the Morning Buzz. You guys can check it out. What do you guys think about the wildfires? Comment below 309-451-9299 if you want to text in. What do you guys think about the wildfires that are happening in Canada? Yeah, I might have said California. Excuse me if I said California. I've got stories about California today. It's Canada, and apparently the smoke is drifting down into Illinois, and it's just really I'm having a lot of issues. I don't know if you guys are coughing as much as I am. I don't know if you guys have as much of the I used to be a smoker. When did I smoke? When I was 18 to about 21, and then I got COVID, got freaked out because I that hit me hard, and then I was like, well, I'm going to change my life, found God, and then I threw all my cigarettes away and picked up running instead. So yesterday I probably made a mistake and I ran outside, which was probably not all that smart. And now I'm like coughing this morning, so I'm gonna try to hit my cough button here in studio as much as possible. But if I get a little scratchy, excuse me, it's just because of these stupid Canada wildfires. And I don't know, I don't understand why we can't get these under control. That's my issue with this is why has this been going on for literally months now? Why can't we get these fires under control? And I find it odd that it's swooped down into Illinois this like so far. I guess we're close to the Canadian border. Now I was talking to somebody yesterday and I, have my theories, my conspiracy theories. I'm a tinfoil hat wearer and somebody was saying, "Well, this happens all of the time, especially down south in the mountains. There's all of these wildfires and, maybe they can't control it as much in Canada or they don't want to because there's not a whole lot of population in Canada." Right? The population is kind of small in these areas where these wildfires are breaking out. And they're like, whatever, it's not burning people alive. So we're just going to let this run its course. Uh, Fires happen in the mountains down south, and there's always this haze, that comes from those. And people down south deal with this a lot more. I just think it's odd that I'm dealing with it here in the state of Illinois when we have these Canadian wildfires uh, all the way up north. I didn't think that we were that close to the Canadian border. But throw into the comments, what do you think about it? 309-451-9299. 9299 is also the text line. You can text in your thoughts about the Canadian wildfires and how have you been dealing with it? How have you been dealing with it? Have you been avoiding going outside? All right, here we go. The morning buzz. I'm going to run through the timeline here. Joe Biden and the media continued to run defense for Hunter Biden's illegal behavior. Okay, Joe Biden was seen leaving the White House just the other day. And again, he denied knowing anything about Hunter Biden's business dealings. I played the clip for you, but it's a little scratchy. And Joe Biden does this thing where he like mumbles under his breath. I think that the people at the White House, like his staffers, are like, "Joe, after your speech, you're going to get out of there. Just get out of there. Don't stop. Don't talk to anybody." And then all of a sudden, Joe, he's walking and then he stops and he does the classic Joe Biden thing where he goes, yeah. And then he, again, when he was asked about Hunter Biden's business dealings, he denies it and he says, "I don't know anything about it." Blah, blah, blah. We have right here at Cities 92.9, I've done the homework on this. Everything they're going to gaslight you about. I'm going to throw this all into the comments. This is the timeline. So October 12th, 2018, we found a copy. We have a copy of the form. It's a purchase form that showed Hunter Biden lying about his drug use when he himself admitted to drug use on tape. And I'm sure you've seen the videos as well. Hunter Biden actually doing crack cocaine on video. My favorite one is actually Hunter Biden doing crack cocaine on video when he's having a conversation with his girlfriend slash brother's widow, a widow of his brother, right. And he's having a conversation with her about drug rehab. And then he grabs a crack pipe at 9 a.m. in the morning because he's all upset. And he literally looks at this widow of his brother and his girlfriend, whom he is, sleeping with, a disgusting man. And he looks at her in this laptop, right? It's recording. And he says, "Why would you call me at 9 a.m. to talk about the drug program?" So it's a drug program. And he goes, "Why would you call me at 9 a.m.?" So he's all upset about her calling him at 9 a.m., which is really quite funny. It's like 9 a.m. I mean, by that time, I'm like ready to go. I'm like, still like middle of my day. But Hunter is big mad that she calls him at 9 a.m. And then he grabs a crack pipe and he starts smoking out of it. So, like, we know that he uses drugs, folks. And he lied about the drug use in order to get a weapon, a gun. Okay. All right. So that's 2018. Now, let's go to 2018, October 23rd. We've got Haley Biden Hunter's sister-in-law slash girlfriend, I think, threw the gun in the trash near a Delaware high school, which is a crime. He obtained this gun illegally because he lied on the form. Okay, folks. And then he had his girlfriend slash Hunter's sister-in-law of the dead brother, right, threw the gun in the trash near a Delaware high school. The gun found by a man rummaging through the grocery store's trash. And then get this, the Secret Service tried to obtain the records. I wonder how or why the Secret Service wanted to obtain the records from the gun store owner. But they were denied the records, the Secret Service, which tells you all you really need to know about the Secret Service. I don't know. You would think that the Secret Service would be able to obtain these records, but they couldn't. And I don't know why they were trying to obtain these records. But there you have it. This is a crime. You are getting rid of evidence that you committed a crime by straight up committing uh, um, a crime in lying on a form to obtain a weapon. Okay, so he tosses. Well, he has his girlfriend slash sister-in-law uh, toss the gun. So let's fast forward here. 2019. The FBI verified the authenticity of the Hunter Biden laptop. Now, on this laptop, there are all kinds of crimes, right? Not only him smoking crack, cocaine, but his business dealings. Okay, so November 2019, the FBI verified that the laptop was indeed real. Was indeed real. Now, in 2020, October of 2020, a year later, the New York Post finds out about the laptop. So the FBI knew the laptop was real. They verified the authenticity of the laptop and all of the crimes that are on it, including bribes, money laundering going on with Chinese oligarchs, Ukraine oligarchs, the whole kit and caboodle. Okay. The laptop's real. But get this, the New York Post gets a hold of the laptop story because of the whole computer repair guy, right? That whole story. And then we have Rudy Giuliani plus others going on record sharing this, showing this to conservative outlets. And they actually obtain a hard drive. A lot of people got hard drives of the laptop and started sharing this out. Then there was the effort, folks, to censor this story. Although the FBI already knew that the story was real, this is why they actually wanted to censor the story. The 2019, they knew, they verified, there's verification. The FBI verified the authenticity of the Hunter Biden laptop. Then in 2020, the work really started to kick into full gear. They started censoring that laptop. Jack Dorsey, we have him on tape in 2021 of November, admitting that they blocked the New York Post article before Congress. Jack Dorsey is before Congress in March of 2021. That was his congressional hearing, was March of 2021, where he admits, Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter at the time, admitted to blocking that New York Post article before Congress. Now, what Mark Zuckerberg says in 2022 tells us that, and what the Twitter files tell us, right, that the FBI contacted both Facebook and Twitter, and they wanted Twitter and Facebook to censor this story. They knew the laptop was real in 2019. Then in 2021 and in 2022, they were actively trying to censor this story. We found out that they were actively censoring this story back in 2020. So I've got to go through this timeline here with you folks on Cities 92.9. We had Mark Zuckerberg admitting to the FBI, preemptively contacting Facebook, letting them know that there was this story out there and that they were supposed to censor this story and not let it go out because they did not verify it. But as I told you, back in 2019, we know that the FBI verified the authenticity of the Hunter Biden laptop. Okay, so right now we're in August of 2022. That's when Zuckerberg admitted to the FBI preemptively contacting Facebook and letting him know, hey, if this story comes across your platform, you need to censor this. And then we're here to December 2022. The Twitter files confirm So we already had Jack Dorsey admitting to blocking the New York Post article before Congress in March of 2021. But fast forward to December of 2022, the Twitter files drop. So Elon Musk, he inherits a crime scene. So then he starts to leak this out via the Twitter files, and it confirms that Twitter employees were directed by the FBI to censor the story about Hunter Biden and the laptop and all of the business dealings that are on that laptop. This was in December of 2022. The Twitter files dropped, and it confirmed that Twitter employees were directed at behest of the Joe Biden FBI, because at this time, 2022, that's when Joe Biden was president, right? Uh, they were all directed to censor this story there at the FBI, and they continued to censor this story there until, Twitter was inherited by somebody else, um, Elon Musk. So then let's go to June of 2023. The DOJ has slowly walked out this Hunter investigation. They've deviated from normal protocol. This ensured that the statute of limitations here on Hunter Biden's 2014 and 2015 tax crimes, this ensured that the statute of limitations would expire so that they could charge him with these tax crimes misdemeanor. So they gave him misdemeanors for these. Why? Because the DOJ has slowly walked this out, and there is a statute of limitations, and it expired on his 2014 2015 tax crimes. 6 witnesses have contradicted Attorney General Merrick Garland's sworn testimony that he did not interfere with the Hunter Biden investigation. We have 6 witnesses who say that Merrick Garland did interfere with this Hunter Biden investigation. A whistleblower revealed a WhatsApp message from Hunter Biden to a Chinese business partner named Henry Zhao. And in this WhatsApp message, he implicates Joe Biden because he says that Joe Biden was with him at the time of this message. So, yeah, the DOJ has slowly walked this out, this Hunter Biden investigation. They've deviated from normal protocol. There's 6 witnesses who have contradicted Merrick Garland's sworn testimony, and they have said that he did, in fact, interfere with this Hunter Biden investigation. Do you still believe that Joe Biden had nothing to do with Hunter Biden's business dealings? Do you still believe that? We have text messages, we have the FBI, the DOJ actively interfering with an investigation, actively trying to censor a story that implicates not just Hunter Biden, but Joe Biden. And that's so important. Okay. This is about Joe Biden and protecting Joe Biden. Hunter Biden is a loser. He's a crackhead, right? He's the president's son. It's not about Hunter. It's about Joe Biden and how they will stop at nothing to protect Joe Biden. This is a regime. All right, I do have to take a break, but I thought that was helpful. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't helpful. Maybe it was. I don't know. But I wanted to go through this timeline with you. There's gun charges, there's tax things, there's crack, cocaine, and they've actively been covering this up since 2018. Now, we are going to hear the exclusive audio of Donald Trump discussing these so-called classified documents in 2021. We're going to listen to the audio, and I'm going to break that down for you because, folks, this is not a bombshell. CNN is going to try to convince you that this is some sort of bombshell audio. We already had the transcript of this conversation. Okay, we already had it printed out. We just got the audio. But this isn't even exclusive audio to see. I mean, you're going to hear it here on the Morning Buzz. Okay, they love to throw this word around, exclusive. Really, it's exclusive to you because it's not. I'm going to play it here coming up in just a little bit. Meet the team and shout. Good morning. Hey, thanks so much. If you are watching right now, go ahead, smash the like button. If you're watching, we did go through the timeline here when it comes to Hunter Biden and his crimes. In 2018, like I said, he lied on a form about a gun, and he obtained a gun. So that was November 2019 was when the FBI had actually verified the authenticity of the Hunter Biden laptop. Then from there, it was just cover up, cover up, cover up, cover up. This is really severe. We have the October 2020, 18, 23rd, Haley Biden, Hunter Biden's sister-in-law, threw the gun in the trash near a Delaware high school. The gun was found by a man rummaging through the grocery store's trash. The Secret Service tried to obtain the records from the gun store owner, but that was denied. So I've gone through the timeline here. We know that Hunter Biden has committed crimes, several of them, and we know that the left has been covering up for Hunter Biden's crimes because they want Joe Biden to be protected. Now, we contrast this with what I'm going to do next is go through this exclusive audio, and they say that this is bombshell audio. It is not bombshell audio. We have already seen the written quotes of Trump saying this exact thing on CNN, where CNN played this. CNN and all of these journalismers, they claim to have a bunch of ethics. They don't. Okay. This was recorded without Trump's knowledge. And in the audio recording, he says this is off the record. These people are gossipers, and there is nothing if anything, it exonerates President Donald Trump from these crimes that they are alleging that he committed by having possession of classified documents. Now, he says that these are confidential documents um, and highly classified documents. Now, he didn't show anybody, right? He didn't give people these documents. He was just saying that he had them, and you can kind of hear in the audio where he shows them the documents. Like, I have them here, and people are missing the real story here. That's what makes me so sick about this, and I'll get into why this exonerates President Donald Trump. But what really makes me sick about this audio clip is that everybody's saying that, "Oh, this is just proves that he had classified documents, blah, blah, blah." Dude, this is like a procedural, like, protocol, like, this is a procedural, like, a filing issue, okay? This isn't like anything. This is so unprecedented to go after a former president over this kind of procedural issue. If, there was a violation of protocol, look in the audio clip. I don't think that Trump even knows if he violated protocol, if there was a protocol violated with this. However, I will say that this is a filing issue. This is nothing to do with what the true story is here from this audio clip is that we have General Milley and all of these bureaucrats undermining a president, the president of the United States, and that they had plans and that they were uh, they were actually trying to go to war behind the commander in chief's back. You elect a president of the United States. There's a reason why you elect the president of the United States. The office, respect the office. This is a very high office. I don't think I need to tell you that and what the presidency stands for. Okay. He's elected. There's a reason why we elect our president here in the United States. And to have generals and to have bureaucrats try to start foreign wars against the wishes of a sitting elected president is the story here. Do not let this classified, were they confidential documents, don't hang yourself up on that. The story here is that we had General Milley proceeding with plans to invade Iran despite President Donald Trump saying he didn't want to. Then you had General Milley out there lying and saying that President Trump wanted to go to war. If you're watching right now, go ahead, smash the like button and share this video out. It really does help us, and subscribe to the channel, folks. We are going to come back. We're going to go through this audio. I've got a nice news story here, actually, for your Wednesday, 6:30 a.m. So a Utah man got to cross an item off his bucket list recently. And this is thanks to some unbelievable kindness and generosity of strangers. So I'm going to be digging into this nice news story here, um, here in just a little bit. Good morning. This is the Morning Buzz. These CNN journalismers, I'm telling you, they sit there and they say that they've got all of these journalistic ethics. And in this exclusive, it's not exclusive. You're going to hear it right here on the Morning Buzz. I love how these, they're clickbaity. These people are clickbaity. It's not exclusive to you, CNN. Now you can have exclusive stories, but this audio is not exclusive to you because guess what? I'm going to play it right here. They say that they have all of these journalistic ethics, these CNNers and these journalismers, okay? But really, what they are, they're a bunch of gossipers. So in this recording, we have Donald Trump being recorded without his knowledge, which you guys know this. I went to journalism school at Illinois State University, and they teach you that you cannot record people without their knowledge. They also teach you when people say off the record, that means off the record. There's a thing called the code of ethics. There's a couple of different codes you can follow as a journalist. Um, I choose to follow my own code of ethics, and that code of ethics is God. Okay, so, like, I have my own morals, and they come from God, and I refuse to follow any kind of bureaucracy, when it comes to ethics, journalism ethics, but they say the point is that these hypocrites say that they're, ethical beings, but they're not. They're gossipers, and I've got the audio here, and I want to clarify something. This audio is not a bombshell. We already had the written transcripts here of this conversation that took place. This is the audio that pairs with it. This is nothing new. We already knew this. We already knew that he had said these things about these documents. And this is very unprecedented to go after a former president, sitting president. I like to call him the sitting president. The former president here with this kind of procedural issue. There's this Bill Clinton Sox case. There's the Presidential Records Act that are both on Donald Trump's side. And we don't know if he violated some sort of protocol. I don't even think Trump really knows if he violated some sort of protocol by, having these documents and by showing these documents to people. Uh, he didn't, like, show the contents of the documents. I'm sure he just kind of, like, flashed them. For all we know, it could have been a napkin that said invasion plans for Iran or something like that. But what is missing here from the conversation is the true story. You've got these bureaucrats and these sick military generals who are thirsty for blood, and they're thrusting another new foreign war on us. And we had a sitting president stop it, and then we had the general try to say that Trump was the one who created these plans, and he was like, "No, no, no, no! These plans have been around for a while. I actually stopped him from invading, and I was the one who brought peace." Right? So that's the real story here. This procedural issue, the protocol issue, I mean, it's just like, "What? What are you guys talking about?" He's sitting here and he prevented a war from breaking out. Talk about the peace and talk about, having the best interest of the American people at heart here. So we're going to get to that here coming up in just a little bit. But first, I did want to run through this nice news story that came across the desk this morning, 6:35 a.m. here on a Wednesday. What do you guys think about the smoke outside? There's a lot of smoke from the Canada wildfires. When's Canada these wildfires? This is a comment here on the YouTube Live, Facebook Live. I'm there. You guys can also text in at 309-451-9299. When's our Canada wildfire reparation checks gonna be here, right? I know. Like, where's my reparations? I went on a run yesterday. Probably shouldn't have outside. And I am just so scratchy and stuffed up from this smoke, and I just want it gone. I just want it gone. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense why these wildfires have swooped down into Illinois. I thought we were far enough from the Canadian border where we wouldn't be impacted by this, but this has been going on for months. It just hasn't been this bad before. In the newscast coming up, you will hear Tom Davis give you an update about the air pollution or, some sort of warning. Um, I don't know. I don't trust the government, folks. I mean, I'm thinking that the Canadian geese have cameras in them, okay? So, I'm that level of conspiracy. I've got my tinfoil hat in studio. These geese, I'm telling you, like, they're the only animal that just seems to breed nonstop, and, like, there's just more and more, every day, and in areas that you wouldn't think that there would be Canadian geese. Like, they, like, show up at, like, grocery stores in the middle of the inner city, and I'm like, where did all these geese come from?" Me, I think that they're cameras that the government has out there. The only thing I can't explain is how they poop so much. If they're cameras, how do they poop so much? All right, so this story is a good story. It's about a Utah man, and he got to cross an item off of his bucket list recently thanks to this unbelievable kindness and generosity of strangers. So his name is Cragen, and he has a lifelong dream of doing this hike. It's a 45-mile hike along the West Coast Trail of on Vancouver Island. So he spent years planning the trip. He wanted to do this 45-mile hike. That's a long hike, folks. 45-mile hike. He spent years planning the trip and became active in a Facebook group called West Coast Trail, beautiful British Columbia. So this was a Facebook group, and this is where he and others discussed plans to do the hike together. So then he got off his flight in Victoria, British Columbia, and Cragen learned that the airline had lost his luggage and all of his gear to go on this hike. He was devastated, and he informed everyone in this Facebook group that he wouldn't be able to join them because he lost his luggage. And that's when his new hiking buddies stepped up, which was really cool. It was just a group of generous strangers, right? The group told him there was no way they were going to let him miss it. So they rallied to supply him with a backpack, tent, poles, a sleeping bag, plus other equipment. So that way he could come along on the multi-day hiking trip. Cragen was extremely grateful and thanked all of his new 19 friends. I have never been on a hike like that. I think the longest hike I've ever been on is probably about like, I don't know, 10, 15 miles, something like that. Um, and it is exhausting and you need gear. Okay, you need gear. I actually have a little bum knee. I dislocated it years ago. And you know those hiking poles I actually use. I know. You're like, "Oh gosh, you're one of those hikers?" Yeah. I actually use the hiking poles. I'm very outdoorsy. I love to be outside. I love to touch grass. And those hiking poles actually stabilize you when you are going on different types of elevation, when you're on all kinds of now there's not a whole lot of places to hike in central Illinois. The one time where I went on this 10, 15-mile hike was in Shawnee National Forest, and it was a blast. I had so much fun. But there's not really a lot of places to hike, like actually hike, uh, with different elevations. There's places you can walk for sure, but not hike. So this was really awesome, and that hiking equipment is not cheap, folks. Like one of those hiking poles probably runs you about like $70. It's insane how much it is to purchase a lot of outdoor gear, especially in Joe Biden's America nowadays. So, yeah, you had this nice news story where this guy actually got to go and hike after losing all of his luggage and equipment just because of some people on a random Facebook group. I do want to come back and we're going to go through the exclusive audio. It's not exclusive to CNN because guess what? You're going to hear it right here on the Morning Buzz next. And we're going to dive into what this audio means. It's not brand new. We already had the transcript of what Donald Trump said here. So let's unpack it here together. Cities 92.9. I can't tell if this is coming from a leftist, but this is a really funny comment. Wonder if somehow Joe Biden is pumping out chemical trails in the guise of a forest fire smoke to get us to wear masks and drink Bud Light. That's pretty funny. I'm pretty sure Ed is a leftist, but that was really good, Ed. Keep it up. Um, have you guys ever seen the movie Horrible Bosses? I went through the timeline here of Hunter Biden's crimes and how he's a drug-riddled, loser, and how he was literally on tape talking about his drug rehab with his, lover slash brother's widow, his sister-in-law. Yeah, it's real disturbing. But he's on video talking about his rehab, and at 9 a.m. in the morning, which he discloses the time in the video, he says that he or he takes out a crack pipe and he starts smoking crack. And have you ever seen Horrible Bosses? There's this crack addict of this boss, and it's really funny movie. I forget who all plays in it, but this guy, he works for a man, an older gentleman, and he likes the older gentleman. He likes his real boss, who is the dad of this family-owned business. I think they sell cars or something. And he has a son. The older man has a son whom is going to inherit the business and inherits the business after this old man who is the owner of that business dies, passes away. And this son inherits the business, and this guy is left with uh, a crappy boss, a horrible boss, hence the name of the movie. And they actually try. So a group of guys, they're all friends with each other. They try to kill their bosses. Really quite funny movie. I recommend it. But in this movie, one of the bosses is this like crack cocaine son. And it's so funny. He just like says I remember this line in the movie where he goes in and he says, "Do you think I wanted to inherit this business? Absolutely not. What I wanna be doing right now is being on a beach and, having a girl come and serve me a drink and smoking crack all day." And he goes, "That's what I dream of." He goes, "This is not my dream. This is not my passion. This business, I don't give a crap about it." That's what I imagine Hunter Biden is like, right? So we've got Joe Biden, who has done all of this work, all of this groundwork to try to build this legacy. You have to like hand it to these people. And the person I think of the most when I hear the word legacy is Michael Madigan. So you know that better than anyone living here in the state of Illinois. If you live in Illinois, smash the like button right now so I can see how many of you are watching from Illinois. Smash the like button, share the video out with your friends. But these people build these legacies for themselves. They get millions of dollars, and you have to wonder, is this, like, for their family? Are they like, they must be really trying to get, is it for themselves? Like, clearly $10,000,000, an oligarch from Ukraine bribing Joe Biden with this, right? "I'll give you $10,000,000 in favor or for the favor of favorable policy later down the road." Um and your help firing this prosecutor, this Ukrainian prosecutor, I need to get rid of him. Um, you have to wonder, like, wow, are these people like really working hard for their family like that? And I'm sure, and like putting their families at risk for this kind of uh money. I mean, it's just I don't know. Green, green, green. I guess is all they can see. It's to me, it's greed. I don't know if it's necessarily building a legacy for your family, but you have to hand it to these people. They will stop at nothing to have all of the money that they possibly could have for a family of what, three, four? Like the Joe Biden family is. I mean, it's big, but it's not that big, right? $10 million big, and it's insanity to me when I think about it. Anyway, so, I'd imagine that Hunter Biden is the type of guy who is like, Dad, I don't really care about the family business. I don't really care about, like, government and, like, working these people." And he goes, "I just wanna hang out on the beach, and I wanna have crack cocaine, and I wanna have girls serve me drinks on the beach." Like, that's how I'd imagine, Hunter Biden thinks about all of this. Coming up, have you heard in the state of Illinois? We are going to now have it to where this new law affords us not being charged extra money for specific breeds. Now, I have a hot take about this, and I honestly don't know how to feel about this because I love large breed dogs. I'm not a pit bull person. I think that pit bulls are dangerous, and I'm I'm just going to be flat out honest with you. We need to stop breeding pit bulls. I have way too many stories about pit bulls and how dangerous these things really are. And we need to stop breeding them. But there's this new law in Illinois that will prevent homeowners and renters insurance companies from rejecting policies or charging more money for specific breeds of dogs. Dogs, in my opinion, should be something that of like a Second Amendment right to bear arms, their property, and you cannot have the law trying or these companies trying to come in and tell you what kind of dog you can and can't have. We will be getting to that exclusive audio, folks, here. I'm thinking I'm gonna get to it in the 7 o'clock hour, okay? I'm gonna get to the exclusive audio from CNN about Donald Trump, and look, folks, I'm just gonna be flat out honest with you here. Uh, these people think that they have a bombshell. It is not a bombshell. If anything, it exonerates President Donald Trump. These people are walking gossipers. They're gossip rags. And, Donald Trump in the video or in the audio clip here, he says it's confidential. Something can be confidential and you don't present those types of things in court. You don't give it to the public. And especially if it relates to national security. Look, as much as the next guy. If Donald Trump was jeopardizing our national security, that would be a big problem. If a sitting elected president was acting against the interests of the American people and releasing state secrets, like Joe Biden said on tape that he was doing. Yes, that happened, folks. He's on tape saying that he was releasing state secrets. Uh, and now, if that was going on and that was jeopardizing our national security, yes, lock up Donald Trump. I get that. However, that's not what's going on here. Okay. Something can be confidential and you don't present it in court, you don't give it to the public, and you can talk about it. Okay. He's the guy, he's the commander in chief. He can have these confidential documents. You would think that he would be able to have these confidential documents. Now, this was after he was president. The former president, under the Presidential Records Act, can declassify things. Now, I don't think Trump was even aware of what kind of protocols he was supposed to be following. That's pretty clear in the clip here. But Donald Trump, the story here isn't about the procedure, isn't about the protocol, isn't about the confidential documents. The story is missing. Like, I don't understand how CNN, they get this clip and then they're like, oh man, we've got him now. It's like, whoa, did you not just hear what was going on here? You had bureaucrats, these sick, disgusting military generals who are thirsty for blood, and they are thrusting new foreign wars on the American people at the expense of us. Okay, you understand because you're living through it right now. There's this foreign war that's happening, Ukraine, Russia. Don't know if you've heard about it, but we have been suffering through this war. You can see it at the gas pump. You can see it with the pricing. You can see the economy is in turmoil because yet another $500 million package went to Ukraine just the other day. $6.2 billion, an accounting error. Oh, we had to pay that to the Ukrainians. Was it really the Ukrainians or was it Prigozhin to go do this insurrection-y type thing? I don't know. But uh, what's going on here is they are inflating the economy. They're spending, 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 and you are hurting, hurting, hurting as an American. Okay. And we have a duly elected president in the middle of this where we have sick, sick bureaucrats and sick military generals who are thirsty for war because guess what? They make money off of it. The military industrial complex. Ever heard of it? And here you have Donald Trump saying, "Hey, I'm for peace. I don't want another war." And these people were planning an invasion under my nose while I was an elected president. And they were the ones who were drafting this plan to invade. And he prevented a literal war. That is the story here. Not this Donald Trump saying that it's confidential documents. Yeah, they're confidential documents. He's the president of the United States. He was a sitting president of the United States. He's a former president of the United States. Presidential Records Act, right? We had Bill Clinton, literal sock drawer full of tapes with him and foreign adversaries and conversations he had with foreign adversaries about all kinds of confidential things. Okay. The story here is that he prevented a war and that this is the only president, I think, in American history that is so for peace, it's not even funny. He fired John Bolton because he was far too war hawkish. I thought the left was usually the one who was, you know, against the military industrial complex. I guess I've got to be the one to come out here and say my piece. They ran a hit piece on a guy who literally was trying to prevent a war from breaking out. I'm going to be playing that audio here coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Did you hear about this? Your thoughts? A new Illinois law is ending insurance restrictions on certain dog breeds. So I kind of have a hot take here. I don't know who I side with, the Democrats, the Republicans on this issue. I don't know if you've ever been faced with higher costs because of your pup. I have a German Shepherd. I've always been a big dog breed gal, not pit bulls. I think that people need to stop owning pit bulls. I'm sorry if that offends somebody, but look, folks, pit bulls are dangerous. I've had way too many run ins with these types of dogs. People need to stop breeding these things. But there's this new law, and I kind of like it. I kind of don't. Let's go through it here next. Oops, sorry about that. We are back on the radio here coming up in about 30 seconds. I will be playing this exclusive audio from CNN when it comes to Donald Trump talking about these confidential documents. I'll be back here on the radio and on the live stream. Sorry about that. My button was not pressed for the radio. So thanks so much. I was sorry. I usually am pretty good about monitoring that text line. I will be back, and then we will also talk about the San Francisco mayor. She says that the poop and the violence in lining the streets right now, they say that that's a snapshot and that people take that out of context. What? You can definitely see here the issue in San Francisco is not just a snapshot in time. This is a consistent issue. The San Francisco mayor then says that she has solutions, and her solutions go by two names, two politicians that between the both of them have a century of politics and a century of policy under their belt. So I'm going to talk about that here next. Good morning. Hey, thanks so much. I'm sorry. Totally missed my button here for the radio. I was on the stream, but I was not on the radio there, folks. I apologize. Like I said, this smoke I think is getting to my brain. My throat's scratchy, my cough button. I've been using that a little bit here and there. Apologies, 309-451-9299. If you guys hear something go off today, just text that in. I've got all kinds of comments flowing in here from the Facebook and from your text line. Joe Biden has been in politics for hundreds of years on a senator salary. How does he have 5 to 6 houses beyond saving up? Those are multi-million dollar homes. The bribery makes sense when you see where these lifelong politicians get their houses. Yes, so same thing with Nancy Pelosi. Insider trading is huge with these people. Speaking of Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden, apparently they're the solutions for the San Francisco mayor. She says that, the poop and the fecal matter that is lining the streets and the violence going on in San Francisco. She says it's just a snapshot, but they're working on it. And she says that the solution is, and I quote, Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. So between the both of these guys, Nancy and Joe, they have over a century, near a century under their belt when it comes to being in elective office. And I'm sure that the solution is just minutes away, folks. We have the solution. They are just waiting to drop this solution for the poop in the streets and the crime on the streets in San Francisco. 309-451-9299. Now, before we took the break, I was talking a little bit about the new Illinois law ending insurance restrictions on certain dog breeds. So this comes to us from the center square. They talk a lot about these harmful stereotypes of certain dog breeds that have allowed insurers to punish families for owning a specific type of dog breed. Now I kind of agree with the Democrats. So the Democrats are the ones who kind of brought this forward. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, why are we discussing this? Like, we have so many other pressing issues. Why are we talking about the dog breeds? I have a hot take on this because I do own a dog breed that is larger. I'm a big German Shepherd gal. I do believe that if you're going to have a dog, it should be a dog that protects you. A dog is an asset. A dog is supposed to be man's best friend. And I'm sorry, I love cats too, right? Cats are nice. They're companions. What a dog should be, in my eyes, is an asset. It's something that can protect you. And I've got a hot take here on this. I don't think a lot of you are gonna agree with me, but we'll see. It sucks for the insurance companies, and it sucks for you in the end of it because you are probably gonna have to be paying more, because of this unfunded mandate, but let's unpack it here in the 7 o'clock hour. Okay, answering all of your text messages. Here we go. I understand where insurance companies stand in terms of dangerous breeds, but I think it still should be left up to the dog owner as to what breed they want, not the insurance company. Yeah, so I don't think that you should reject, like, okay, one thing that I have a big issue with is, like, rejecting somebody a place of living, a lot of these apartment complexes or, places where you rent, they will try to reject, your application if you have a, she tries to protect. I love this, yeah. But yeah, what they'll try to do is they'll try to reject your application to actually live there. That's not okay. Now insurance companies charging you a bit more, that makes sense, because dogs that are larger will hurt you. And I think that that is okay. Charging more, for a larger dog breed, that's just the price of what happens, right? So there's a lot of things that you in order to protect yourself with a gun, you can get things like defense insurance. Um, that there's just things that you have to bite the bullet on, so to speak, when you decide to have a dog that's larger. Okay, a fun story, or not fun, but terrifying story I went through, pit bulls. Now those are a different story. I don't care if I offend people or what, but pit bulls are very, very dangerous dogs. I've had so many run-ins with them. I was running one time, and this dog literally was chained up to the foundation of a house. It was this big old pole, like a stilt that the house was sitting on top of, and this pit bull rips this stilt out of the house, the roof comes down, runs after me because I'm running, right? I'm a runner, I run down the street, and the pit bull runs after me. The guy was outside fixing his motorcycle. He jumps on top of the dog and he tells me to run. I freeze, right? Naturally, I'm just frozen. And the guy tells me to run, I keep running, and I ran away. And I mean, that would have been terrifying, like scary. I don't know if I would have come out with my life. There's been all kinds of stories about pit bulls. I don't recommend people own pit bulls. A lot of leftists own pit bulls, and here's why. They think that the pit bull is misunderstood, and that I really I've never met somebody who is a conservative who owns a pit bull because we understand a little thing called consequences. And there's consequences to owning a dog like that. And I don't know why we keep breeding them. Americans breeding pit bulls like this. I think it's very dangerous. They're a very dangerous dog breed. Now they have places. I'm not going to say that pit bulls should um, never like shouldn't exist at all, but it takes a very special type of dog owner to have one of these. A very special one that, is not even of me, right? Like I have a German shepherd, okay? And we are a very special type of family. There is certain things within our family that allow us to have a German shepherd. We don't have young children. We are all older. We've had shepherds in the past. My parents used to breed German shepherds, and they understand the danger that comes with and the consequences that come with and the unpredictability that comes with having this large dog. With all this said, I think that you should have a large dog, and people cannot deny you a place of living, right? Deny your application on the basis that you have a large dog. I think that's totally unfair. Charging you more, okay, yeah, I understand consequences, and you know, you have to pay extra insurance for health insurance when, or life insurance. You have to pay extra if you're like a smoker or something like that, right? Because you are like actively trying to end end your life if you're a smoker. That's just the fact. So I think that there is a place for insurance companies to charge people not absurd amounts of money, but just enough to protect themselves, right? Where and these insurance companies, they're gougers, right? They are always constantly thinking of new ways to ruin your life. uh, so and charge you more money, even though that they don't even help you at all. And these crazy deductibles. So I get it, the insurance companies. What I am afraid to see here is that this is an unfunded mandate, and most likely the result of this is that you are going to be paying more even if you don't have a dog. So you're paying for people's dogs even though you don't have a dog. Um, yeah, but you can't deny somebody. It's like a Second Amendment right to bear arms. My right to bear arms in an apartment life, right? So you can't keep a gun. Well, you can, but I wouldn't keep a gun in an apartment because I don't know who has keys to that place. Okay, what I would do is have a dog in an apartment complex or some sort of a living arrangement, um, to protect myself. A gun might not be the safest option because you don't know who has keys to that place. You don't know who would have access to, your weapons if you were in an apartment type situation. With a dog, if somebody breaks in, well, game over. Coming up, San Francisco. The mayor here, she's attacking Ron DeSantis for calling the city a cesspool. And she claims that the drugs and the poop and the violence, it's just a snapshot, folks. It's just a snapshot. And people are taking it out of context. That's not what is really happening, despite all of the video evidence, right? But the San Francisco mayor, she says that she has solutions. Her solution, uh, she's got 2 of them, and they're the names of 2 politicians. She says that they have solutions for her, and between these 2 politicians, there's probably near a century of elected office experience, elected office time put in, and I'm sure we are just minutes away from a solution to all of these drugs and poop in the San Francisco streets. It's just going to take a little bit more time. You know, the century of time that these people have been in office, you know, they haven't provided the solution yet, but we are on the brink of a solution here, people. Plus, let's listen to the audio clip, the exclusive audio clip of Donald Trump, right? They say that CNN, it's so funny. It's not exclusive. You're going to hear it right here, right now on the Morning Buzz with Kat. CNN saying that this is an exclusive audio clip of Trump discussing classified documents in 2021. Folks, this is not a bombshell. We already had a transcript of Trump saying these things. This is not anything new. They will try to make you believe that this is some sort of bombshell. I'm on the Facebook live stream. You can see me live in studio, 309-451-9299 to be a part of the show, and you can comment on the Facebook live as well. So let's take a listen. Here we go.
You have obtained what is expected to be a central piece of the government's case against Donald Trump. The actual audio recording of the former president talking as if he's showing a highly classified document on U.S. war plans against Iran with people not cleared to even know it exists, let alone what's in it. In a moment, only on CNN, you will hear what jurors will hear one day.
only on CNN. Only on CNN. That's not true. There were lots of people with this audio clip the day that this broke out. I think it was a couple of days ago. Right. Not exclusive to CNN. You want to know why? Because you're listening to it right now. But let's keep going with Anderson Cooper. Sorry, I do that a lot.
The recording was made 2 summers ago, July 2021, at the former president's club in Bedminster, New Jersey. You will clearly hear the former president as he is speaking to several people. According to the special counsel's indictment, they include a writer working on Mark Meadows' memoir, the publisher, and 2 of Trump's staff members. The president was aware he was being recorded. This is the first time it is being played publicly.
These are bad.
Okay, real quick before we listen to the audio, I love what Anderson Cooper there says. He goes, he didn't know he was being recorded. Later, we find out that Trump says in this audio clip, this is all off the record, by the way. So these journalismers, they sit there and they say that they have all of this this amazing ethic, these ethics, they have integrity. These people don't have integrity. They're a bunch of gossipers, okay? And they go out there and they gossip, and they claim that they follow this code of ethics, right? And take it from somebody. I did go to journalism school. I've had entire classes dedicated to a code of ethics, and the top 2 things they teach you is, number 1, never record somebody without their knowledge, which I think is just crappy journalism. And it's a disservice to the American people to not record people without their knowledge. Like, the only way you get good stories is if you record people without their knowledge. Okay. I love James O'Keefe style journalism, because that's being adversarial with the government. That is being a watchdog of the American people, of people that you are supposed to be advocating for. I think that there is a degree of advocacy that you should have in your role as a journalist. And you can't do that if you're not willing to catch people lying, stealing, cheating the American people out of what they are owed, and that is freedom. So I have my own code of ethics, and the code of ethics is endowed by a creator, right? I have morals, and it all comes from the Bible. That's my code of ethics. Sorry about that. But bottom line, when I do journalism type things, I wouldn't say I'm a journalist, but when I do reporting and when I interview people and things like that, my code of ethics is, i.e., the Bible, and not some sort of, thick handbook that people give you in journalism school. These people are sick. So let's get to the audio.
Sick people.
That was your coup, against you.
Well, it started right at the
like
beginning.
when Millie's talking about, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in. That's right. Trying to overthrow your election.
Well, with Millie, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him.
Wow.
We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. It's pages long. Look. Wait a minute. Let's see here. We're gonna-
Yeah.
I just found, isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, you know.
Mhm.
Except it is like highly confidential, secret. There's a secret.
Okay, something can be confidential here, folks. Something can be confidential, meaning you don't present it in court, you don't show it to the public because of national security reasons. You can have something that's confidential and you can preserve national security and be in possession of confidential documents and not go public with them in the event that you try to intend harm to the American people and put our national security at risk. You can have as a former president, you can have confidential documents. Okay. We know that because of Bill Clinton in the sock drawer. We know that because of the Presidential Records Act. So you can have and be in possession of confidential documents. Now, going public with it is the thing. Now, for all we know, there were papers shuffling. He, could have had some sort of napkin. We don't even know if these were the actual documents, but he says what's kind of in them. It could have been a napkin that says plans to invade Iran on it. Trump is bombastic. He, is saying, oh, well, I have these documents. I have these confidential documents. And really what he's doing here is he's defending himself and he's telling these people that he wasn't for another foreign war. That's the story. CNN, you missed it. Okay, the exclusive audio that you've obtained. Who cares about the procedural, the protocol, the confidential, the classified record? Who cares? We have these sick generals, these military generals who are thirsty for blood. General Milley, we have these bureaucrats thrusting new foreign wars on the American people at the expense of the American people. You get it. You're living through one right now. Ukraine, Russia. You get it. The spending, the $500 million we just gave over to Ukraine, the $6.2 billion accounting error where we had to give more money to Ukraine. You're feeling the inflation. You're feeling the government spending on these wars right now. You know what it feels like. And people are dying. There's death happening in Ukraine. I've had people in here from Ukraine who have told me that the children in Ukraine can identify what kind of missiles are above their heads just by the sound. And they run, they hide, they go into the basement. Like, that's what's going on in this war. And you have President Donald Trump sitting there saying that despite him being an elected president at the time, you had these people trying to go out from underneath, behind his back, somebody we elected to be the commander in chief to decide if we are going to invade foreign countries. You had people going behind his back, like John Bolton, who was very war hawkish, and he had to fire him because he was war hawkish, like General Milley going behind his back. I thought the left was usually the ones who were advocating against the military industrial complex. I guess it's up to me now. Here's a hit piece. They did a hit piece on a guy who's on tape talking about how he prevented a war. That's the story. Here's what Donald Trump said on Truth Social. The deranged special prosecutor, Jack Smith, working in conjunction with the DOJ and the FBI, illegally, folks, leaked and spun a tape and transcript of me in which it actually exonerates me rather than what they would have you believe. This is a continuing witch hunt, and it's another election interference scam. They are cheaters and thugs. That's President Donald Trump on Truth Social. Yeah. Like, this exonerates him. This proves, I mean, at least, if not anything, that Donald Trump has character and that he's a peacemaker. And what is up with this leak this week? Is it a distraction from all of the Hunter Biden crimes that I laid out for you in the 6 o'clock hour? This leak happened the same day Kevin McCarthy was looking to impeach Merrick Garland. The same day this leak happened. Here it is. Kevin McCarthy, the speaker, live on Fox News, talking about how he's planning to bring forward an impeachment against Merrick Garland over the Hunter Biden crime cover up. Here we go.
All over the laptop. So will this prompt you to do a impeachment inquiry?
Well, you apparently don't follow me on Twitter, because yesterday I laid out very, very clearly by July 6th, because of the allegations from the IRS, because of the whistleblowers and the DOJ are Garland, what he is saying and what David Weiss are saying privately are two different things.
Right.
And if it comes true what the IRS whistleblower is saying, we're going to start impeachment inquiries on the Attorney General.
Well, Miranda Devine says
So there you
that
have
Joe
it.
Biden.
Okay, that's why this all dropped as CNN exclusive audio. Merrick Garland didn't have the ability to prosecute or investigate in any other state besides Delaware. Then this guy goes and he asks for special prosecution. This one guy, the U.S. attorney, asks for special prosecutor ability so he could go and probe in other places like California and see what was going on there. And then he was rejected. They said, no, you don't get special prosecutor abilities to go into these other states and try to prosecute it there. Basically stopping the investigation from going forward. This was a big deal, and we have 6 witnesses who say Merrick Garland did this, and he went and he prolonged this investigation. He tried to stop this investigation from going forward. And Kevin McCarthy, right there, now saying, "Look, if this is true, then we're going to have to impeach you." And we have IRS whistleblower. This is according to the Post Millennial, Gary Shapley. He's a whistleblower, and he testified that the U.S. Attorney David Weiss and others obstructed their investigation into the Hunter Biden taxes. So they prolonged this, right? 2014, 2015 is when he did this whole thing, Hunter, with his taxes. And they prolonged it to the point of which statute of limitations won't hold up, right? And at one point, uh, he would not decide if the prosecution should take place, this David Weiss fellow. So then he said it was out of his hands. He said that it's not up to me to prosecute. We're going to leave it up to the higher ups at the DOJ, which is what? What do you mean you're not going to prosecute? Somebody's committing a crime. You're not going to prosecute? And this isn't the first offense, by the way. We have Merrick Garland out there calling parents who go to school board meetings terrorists. And reminder, this is all about Joe Biden, and Hunter, to be clear, is a drug addict and he's a loser. This is not about protecting Hunter. They could probably care less about Hunter. This is about protecting the Biden legacy and Joe Biden and the cabal, the establishment. That's what this is all about. Do want to take a break. You guys can continue watching on Facebook and YouTube live. I will be talking about the San Francisco mayor. London Breed is her name, and she didn't take too kindly to Ron DeSantis calling her poop and crime infested city a cesspool, right? And drugs. We can't forget the drugs. There's a big drug problem in San Francisco, but she says it's just a snapshot, okay? And, she's got solutions. The solutions, she name dropped 2 politicians with centuries worth of elected office between them, these 2 people. And she says that these people have solutions. I'm going to give you the names of those 2 people next. Good morning, folks. Okay, we're going to get to the San Francisco story here. And like I was saying, this new law that allows insurance companies to cancel a policy if the individual dog is deemed dangerous or vicious under the Animal Control Act. So this new law does allow people to cancel their policy if the individual dog is deemed dangerous or vicious by the animal control. So the insurance company can decide not to insure these dangerous dogs, but prior to that, um, there was legislation that allowed insurance companies to not only raise money, but or raise the cost or for owning a dog breed that was bigger, but also refuse to insure you. Now, um, that is the insurance. This is an unfunded mandate. I am against unfunded mandates of any kind. Now the issue here, I think, is more so refusing people the right to like live somewhere, right? You have the right to pursue happiness, and a lot of times people don't understand that dogs are your Second Amendment right to bear arms. I think that anybody who has a dog should have a large breed dog. Little dogs, they're great. They're great companions and things like that. And cats. I have cats too, right? There's nothing wrong with having a pet. But dogs specifically, I think, serve a much higher purpose than that of a companion or like a pet. Okay, dogs are supposed to be used, in my opinion, as a weapon, if need be, and they should be a guard dog of some form. You should get a guard dog. I encourage everybody to get a large breed dog to protect their home. I grew up with shepherds. There's a way to train a shepherd to make sure that they are not um, dangerous to the family or to non threats. Um, and we do a very good job of that. Shock collars, right? That I live and die by a shock collar. Shocking the crap out of your shepherd is probably, um, but inhumane to some people. But these are animals, and they need direction and they need discipline, much like children, right? Human beings have the capability to be very dangerous beings. Dogs have a very real capability of being dangerous. So I use a shock collar for training. That's what we did, and it worked. So, and these dogs, right? They're powerful animals. German shepherds are very powerful animals. Same with pit bulls. Pit bulls, I don't know. They're on a different level, man. I highly recommend that you don't get a pit bull. Right? I'm very much against pit bulls. I don't like them at all. But um, for insurance companies to deny or reject you the right to pursue happiness, even though your dog wasn't deemed dangerous or vicious by anybody, and they just out of flat right say it because it's a big dog breed, um, that is unfair. And you are interfering with not only my right to bear arms, but also my right to pursue happiness at that point. So now if the dog is vicious, yeah, I mean, on an individual basis, if the animal control is going to deem it vicious, then I could see where the insurance company would be justifying denying you insurance. This law, I don't know. I haven't read through it entirely. Um, Now I don't agree with it. It goes as far as to it's very far in that it says that insurance companies can't even charge people more if they have a big dog, which is just unfair, right? With a dog, a big breed, people who are large breed dog owners understand that there's consequences to having that large dog breed. And most large breed dog owners won't take issue with having to pay more for a large dog breed. When you flat out refuse to insure somebody just because they have a certain breed of dog, I think that's unfair. There's poop in the streets, there's drugs in the streets, and London Breed just doesn't it doesn't think that that's real. She says it's a snapshot, and it's unfair that these politicians like Ron DeSantis are calling her city, San Francisco, a poop infested city, one that was infested with poop and crime, right? So it is, in fact, infested with poop, crime, oh, and drugs. Can't forget about the drugs. So London Breed is the mayor there in San Francisco. And I've been talking about her this morning on the Morning Buzz, and she was asked to respond to Ron DeSantis, who said that the crime and poop and the drugs were a problem, and she says that it's only a snapshot of her fair city, of her gorgeous city of San Francisco. And she doesn't need complaints and that she needs solutions. So here she is, folks. Let's take a listen to London Breed and what she has to say about Ron DeSantis coming to San Francisco and talking about how her crime is, in fact, um, a sewer.
Once great city of San Francisco. And the ad, he says he saw people defecating in the street, open air drug use, and linked it to all, in his words, leftist policies. Let's see a bit of the ad, and then we'll come back, Mayor, and ask for your reaction to it.
I've seen so much riffraff just running around, and it just shows you these policies matter. Leadership matters. They are doing it wrong here. No wonder why we've had so many people move from San Francisco to Florida over the last few years. We got to stop.
Mayor Breed, how do you respond to that ad?
Well, he's using the oldest playbook in politics to get attention, talking bad about what's wrong and not necessarily talking about solutions to fix it. In fact, Speaker Nancy Pelosi has been actively engaged in working with us in the federal government to help deal with these challenges. President Joe Biden was just here in San Francisco yesterday talking about climate change and artificial intelligence. And so they're talking about solutions and how we move our country forward. But unfortunately, in politics, the old playbook of focusing on the negative and targeting places like San Francisco have been, unfortunately, the norm. So we need to turn that around.
Is what he's saying untrue, though?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know what his experience was. You know, people are taking what they're seeing in videos and seeing in terms of a snapshot and elevating them.
Oh gosh. You know what? I love the leftists. They're focusing on the negative. No, we're showing you the reality. And I love how she name dropped these two politicians with centuries worth of elected office between the both of them. As if these people have solutions, right? I'm sure we're just we're on the brink here of a solution any day now, right? She says Nancy Pelosi has been actively engaged in working in the federal government to try to help deal with these challenges. And then she says that Joe Biden was just here in San Francisco the other day talking about climate change and artificial intelligence. Okay, so those are the solutions to people pooping in the streets and shooting up fentanyl, heroin, whatever. So they're talking about solutions. Nancy Pelosi has been involved in San Francisco politics for 42 years. London Breed, the mayor here, was appointed acting mayor in 2018 in January. While the fecal-lined streets became such a problem, they created a poop tracking device so citizens could avoid the poop. Right? This is a real thing. Like, there's a poop tracking device that you can hold, and you go around the streets and you can tell what is poop and what is not. I mean, that's how bad it is there in San Francisco. And Pelosi was the House Minority Leader in between her two stints as Speaker. And I mean, I'm just waiting for these solutions. I'm sure those solutions are going to be coming any minute now. London Breed says that we need solutions and says that conservatives like Ron DeSantis don't provide any. That's just nonsense. That's just nonsense. Ron DeSantis is saying, quote, everything the left has been doing for decades, we're doing the exact opposite. That is a solution. Just do the exact opposite of what the left has been doing for 42 plus years, i.e. Nancy Pelosi, who has been involved in San Francisco politics for 42 years. Just do the opposite of what you've been doing, and most likely that's going to fix the problem. The people without the solutions are the low information progressive voters in the cities like San Francisco. They vote for the same failed ideology every single election, and then they're left wondering why the city has turned out the way it is. But don't worry, it's just a snapshot, and this is gaslighting at a level that's deeply disturbing. 309-451-9299. On the other side, Scott Robbins will be joining me for Scott's Takes. It happens every morning at around 7:35. He was off yesterday, but he is from the show, Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins, which you can catch here tonight on Cities 92.9 at 8 o'clock. Oh man, the smoke is just terrible out there. Scott Robbins on the morning buzz. I'm not a fan. I want it to go away.
Oh, I know. I mean, I thought yesterday was bad.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, well, maybe we had our bad day and now it's going to push its way out of here, but it isn't. I mean, it's still hanging around out there. It's still visible. I mean, it looks like, again, when you wake up and it's sort of foggy.
I know. I feel like there's
and you
something
look
on
out.
my eyes, like it's me. I'm like, are my
Yeah.
eyes blurry? Is there something on my eyes? Is my contact nut?
No, it's just really, really weird. And it's out there again today. So, be careful, I guess. I mean, if you're the type of person, I mean, they tell you this on the weather, right? I mean, all the time, hey, if you've got XXYZ conditions, might be a good idea to stay in.
Yeah.
Or you've got masks laying around. I mean, I know you do. So maybe throw one on before you go out, Again, I'm
Yeah.
no doctor. I'm just echoing what I'm seeing my TV guys do back and forth,
Yeah. And
So-
like I was talking to someone the other day and they said that this is very common in the South actually, because there's wildfires that just break out in the mountains and then the smoke will come down from the mountains and it'll bother people. We just have never really experienced anything like this, I guess, because
Well, I haven't. I mean, and I've
haven't
been
in my
around.
lifetime.
I've been around a lot longer than you have, but it's just no. I have never. I don't remember a time when it's lingered like this for days, for weeks. I mean, and it seems like it goes away or pushes past, and then another wave comes in. When somebody asked me this yesterday, maybe you can answer the question. I don't know. Are those things still burning right now?
yeah,
Okay, all right.
they say
said
that the Canada wildfires are still going on,
They're
and they
still
probably
burning.
aren't putting them out because nobody lives there, right? They're like, man, what's the point of like wasting our resources?
Yeah, but I figured with Fidel Castro's illegitimate son running the country that he would, that he would have that task taken care of by
Come on, he didn't care if people die. He legalized assisted suicide.
That's
I mean,
true. Maybe
like-
right. Maybe they're just pushing it along a little quicker, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but it's weird. So anyway, if you got to be careful today. The worst vice president, polling numbers wise, since they've been keeping polls, has been achieved. Congratulations to Kamala Harris. She collects the award. She is now, according to polling data, the worst vice president in the history of the United States of America, at least since polling data has been taking place. Man, that's saying something right there.
Wow.
It's almost like she's playing for a draft choice, if that existed, like she's tanking it so she can get the first pick in the draft. Much like, sports. I just don't understand. I don't know why they let her alone, why they let her out there, because she's got to be going off script. This cannot be scripted the way she says it. Anyway, this was the anniversary of the Dobbs decision. So the left is fired up. It overturned Roe v. Wade, of course, and it said, hey, states, do what you want with this, but you decide. We don't decide on the federal level. End of list. Well, of course, on cue, the shrieking and howling and setting themselves on fire group acted exactly like you knew they would. And so Kamala wanted to mark the occasion with some pearls of wisdom. And we'll play this short clip for you. And then, Kat, I want you to come back and tell me what she said, okay?
Alrighty.
All right, let's roll it. Here we go. All right.
But let's always take a moment to also see what we have achieved thus far, while we clearly see the moment that we are presently in. So we have achieved a lot.
Okay, Kat, to you.
So
I mean, it's okay.
I don't know. I don't know
I mean-
what she's trying. We have achieved so much. Actually, you didn't, because the overturning of Roe v. Wade is actually a win
Yes.
for pro-lifers, and we know that you are anti-life, Kamala. So really, we're the winners here. So you're trying to
Yes.
say that you've achieved a lot, but really, I mean, in the last couple of years, I think that we have gotten all of the wins when it comes to abortion in a lot of states.
Well, and let's just, again, I mean, how compelling and how good is a speaker if you, after they're done, everybody's looking around at each other like, did you get that? I didn't get that. I don't understand that. What did she just say? I mean, this goes on all the time, right?
Yeah.
And you and I were talking about this before we went on today. I believe her anyway, that she has a profound sense of self, an ego that is absolutely out of control. And we all know why she's there. Okay. So let's just not pretend any longer. She's there because she was African-American and female, And Joe promised that's what he was going to do if he were the nominee. Again, pander, pander, pander. All of a sudden, you're the nominee. Now what? Well, you have to choose someone you said you were going to choose. You don't want to break that promise right away. So he chose Kamala Harris, way out over his skis. Was running for president, if you recall. Never made it to the primaries. Never even made it that far. Was out before then, right? So not a great candidate, not even a great political person. And I try to find what her skill set is, and I've looked and looked and looked, and I have no idea what it is. But she says these things because I think she believes that someday they'll be etched in stone somewhere, the profound vice president, because that doesn't make any sense. None of this stuff makes any sense when she says it. Crazy, man. All right. Have you seen the pictures of RFK Jr. without his shirt on, Kat?
Yes, and objectively, I'm just going to say he's
objectively
he's a snack. Like he is very good looking.
And I'm glad you said that. The dude is 69, man. He's 69 years old, and he's doing these shirtless push-up videos. And again, you may say, well, why is he doing that? He's running for president. Well, I think it's compare and contrast. Again, you've got this very virile, strong. I mean, this dude is ripped, man. And there he is. And you've got this feeble old man shuffling his way to the podium. And I'm like, do you want this guy or that guy? Now, the one thing about RFK Jr. that I think he's going to have a hard time overcoming is his speech. It's tough to listen to him. It's just hard. You want to listen to him, but we're human and we go, what is that? I don't, who? It just makes you uncomfortable, right? But in terms of what he has to say, I mean, he's got a 20% support right now in the Democrat Party. He 20% over the incumbent, who we know is doing a fabulous job, because that's what Karine Jean-Pierre Van Camp said yesterday. I say Van Camp because this makes me laugh. But she's got 16 names. But anyway, she
the historical figure. She came out and said that.
Yes, the historical figure. Again, this is another person. At any rate, this is so. This is a guy who came out of left and was known as a tinfoil hat wearing freak, if you remember, during the pandemic. It turned out he was probably more right than Fauci. He's running, and I don't know anything much about him. I don't know anything about really his politics. I know what he thinks about COVID. That's for damn sure. And then the vaccine. But I know there were some people pushing back saying, and then that idiot on MSNBC, one of the many idiots that was like, well, maybe he's taking steroids. How can a 69-year-old man be that jacked? Well, he is. So there you go.
He is. Well, and who are you going to take health advice from, right? Are you going to take it from feeble Joe Biden or Bill Gates? Nah, I don't know. Maybe his whole anti-vax thing is working out for him. It looks like it.
Seems to be.
Seems to be.
But I would have never guessed when I saw the pictures. I was like, holy cow. I mean, who knew, right? He's not walking around like Matthew McConaughey without a shirt on all the time. But man. So anyway, I just wanted your female take on that. And you said exactly what I thought you might say, even though he is a Democrat.
Even though he is a Democrat.
Ryan Seacrest is replacing the Jacker on Wheel of Fortune. Ryan Seacrest, who does American Idol now, will be taking over the duties of Pat Sajak on Wheel of Fortune. Pat's going to retire, stepping down anyway, after the 41st season of the game show, starting in 2024. So he's got the end of this year left, Pat Sajak does, and then Ryan Seacrest will take his gig. I mean, I don't know how Ryan Seacrest does it.
Yeah, how do you feel about that guy's shoes?
I mean, well, I here's the thing, you don't, but I think he's got a decent chance, because one thing you'll notice about these people, Seacrest and the really good news anchors, even though, they could be saying nothing, they don't screw it up. Nobody boots anything. I've noticed that about Seacrest. He's gone live a lot of times on TV, a lot of times on Idol and whatever. And it just smooth as silk, man. You won't remember anything he said afterwards. You'll have no idea. But you'll also you won't notice that it's flawless. But that's hard to do. And he does it. Yeah. He does it a lot. And he does a morning radio show too. Doesn't he still do that?
Maybe.
He's got like a morning radio show in LA or something, and then he's off to do this other stuff, Idol, and now he's going to do Wheel of Fortune. Wow. Okay. Well, good for him. I was passed over again, Kat.
That's awesome.
So for the one other thing before we leave, there was an audio clip you just played, and there is Ron DeSantis went to San Francisco And you've seen this, right? I mean, just what's going on in San Francisco is criminal. Criminal. I've been to San Francisco only one time. That was 20 years ago anyway. And it was a really cool city. There was a certain vibe to it. I wasn't there long, but I was there 3 or 4 days. But anyway, I know other people have gone there and they had a good time. Again, that was 20 years ago. You can't go there now. You can't go there now.
No.
I mean, it's a disaster. It's been overrun with the homelessness and drug addicts. People defecating in the street is common, by the way. Businesses have shuttered and closed down. This is reality. And this is going on in a lot of major cities across America. And the reason for that is because it's been tolerated forever.
In fact,
they've
it's been promoted. I mean, there
Right.
was an audio clip, and I didn't get to edit it. The homeless guy naturally was using a bunch of profanities, but he said that he was getting literally paid by the city of San Francisco $620 a month. And he said, why would I go and get a place for rent? And he goes, why would I? He goes, I have a phone, I've got Amazon Prime. He goes, and I'm sleeping here. And I mean, there's people with flat screen TVs in these tents. And the reason why they don't go and they get an apartment, he said, why would I waste my money on an apartment when I can have $600 for literally anything else I want?
Well, there's no motivation to do anything else. You know, there's zero motivation. And, you know, Bill Burr, do you know Bill Burr, the comedian?
Yes.
He does a great bit about, and I've mentioned this before, homelessness has existed for a long time in cities, including Peoria. I don't know as much about Bloomington, but I know Peoria, it's been there. There was a handful of homeless people that would wander the streets. One of them became quite famous because he was bizarro. But anyway, they were there. It was a small group of people, right, who just didn't want to go into shelters, who preferred this sort of life, and that's what they did, right? And for the most part, harmless, left people alone, you know, just went about their business. And Burr always talks about this. He said, it used to be this guy, you know, who might stand there and say, hey, you have a nickel, you have a quarter, you have some change, whatever. He said, now it's Shutter Island. Now you've got people running at you, lunging at you, barking at you. You know, it's a whole different world now. You know, because it's been encouraged and it's promoted sometimes to these cities like it's something that's going to add to the city life. You know, I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah, I know. It's almost
And again,
like
nobody
they like it.
Right. Nobody wants to see nobody that's actually a tax-paying, business-owning person who got a great location in San Francisco, Chicago, whatever, that has to shut their business down because people are defecating on the street and there's nothing you can do about it. So DeSantis goes there, right, and shows what's going on. I think he mentioned what it was. This is another blue city or liberal-run city, and you can see what's happening here. And it's not happening in my state. So DeSantis gets called out for it, right? London Breed, the mayor of San Francisco, said, well, he went, you know, essentially saying, well, he only showed you the bad side. He didn't give you the complete story. And it's so negative. He doesn't have solutions, just negative. I'm like, well, that's what you do. You're on the campaign trail. You want more of this? Then vote for their guy. If you had enough of this stuff, then vote for me. That's pretty simple stuff.
Yeah, none of the
And by
stuff
the-
that Ron DeSantis was saying was untrue.
No.
True.
No. And again, your heart goes out for any people who are displaced like this. There are places in most cities where you can go. You choose not to because you can't shoot up there. You can't smoke crack there. There's responsibilities included in your stay. And they'll have none of it. And then, of course, we get that, well, we need more mental health people. Well, I'm not going to argue with that. We probably do. But at the same time, what do you want me to do? I'm trying to sell hardware here. What do you want me to do? My family's livelihood is dependent upon me selling hardware in my hardware store, which, by the way, I open my own business. Not easy either. So what do you want me to do? Accept it? You know, you've created laws that protects them, but not me. I'm the one that's providing. Yeah. So
You know what's really weird here in Bloomington, Scott? I am a sucker for giving money to the homeless people.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
very bad about it.
Yeah.
And I pull up on this guy and he says that he has a Cash App. So he has a
Cash App.
smartphone, and what homeless people have now started doing, it's not the, it's not your father's homeless man where he's, asking for spare change. He's got it ready to go. It's a Cash App Zelle account. They've got bank accounts, and they're asking you to Zelle them if you don't have cash on you.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I mean that's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah.
not. And if you are, I mean that's a business at that point, right? You are getting money funneled into your account from people. I don't know if you were actually homeless. Would you be funneling money through a Cash App into your bank account? I don't know.
No. You wouldn't have a bank account, nor would you have a cell phone, smartphone. No, I would think not. All right, Kat, be careful. Breathing today.
Yes.
Jeez. Yeah, no kidding. All right.
See you later,
We'll
Scott
see
Robbins.
you later. All right. Have a good day.
Scott Robbins is on later tonight, folks. Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Check him out on Facebook, Scott Robbins, and you can keep up to date with all of the Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins programming updates. That's next. this Hunter Biden. I want to go through the timeline. And this is a podcast to save folks on cities99.com. It's a timeline of Hunter Biden's crimes and the left's attempt to cover them up. And then we're going to get into the exclusive audio from CNN about Trump discussing these classified documents in 2021. I'm going to unpack it here on the Morning Buzz. Plus, a new law in Illinois ends insurance restrictions on certain dog breeds. And I've got a hot take on that here coming up in just a little while. morning. This is the Morning Buzz. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now, I've got so much to get through today. And on cue, DeSanctimonious, Ron Sanctimonious, he is dropping like a rock. And now, of course, Fox News pushing Glenn Youngkin. It's right on schedule. Let's take a listen to it. Here we go.
Down there, Glenn Youngkin. It started with turning Virginia red for the first time in over a decade, winning the governorship. And a year prior, Joe Biden won the state by 10 percentage points. And how about favorability? A majority of Virginians approve of their governor in the latest polling, also topping Joe Biden by nearly 10 points in the Commonwealth. But time is not on his side because Virginia doesn't allow consecutive terms for a governor. So with his term set to expire in less than 3 years, he needs something to do. Is Glenn Youngkin the dark horse of 2024? Our next guest thinks he could be. Democratic strategist and pollster Doug Schoen joins us right now.
There you have it, folks. Fox News, that audio you heard there on cue. We have Fox pushing Glenn Youngkin right on schedule. I mean, there's been polling that has come out, and people say, oh, Kat, you can't believe in the polls, blah, blah, blah. And I have some DeSantis folks. That's fine. Look, it's fine. But to a degree, you have to agree with me that people believe in polls to an extent. So if I were to get on this microphone this morning and say that Vivek Ramaswamy has a chance, you would laugh. Okay. So to a degree, you believe polling. So we have Ron DeSantis finally pulling some double digits here, 22%. In Iowa, Trump running away with it, 44%. New Hampshire, Trump 46%, DeSantis 15%. South Carolina, this is funny, 19% for DeSantis, Trump 40%. Nevada, we have Trump 52% and DeSantis polling at 20%. Okay, so to a degree, you do believe polls, right? Because you wouldn't think that Chris Christie is going to be the Republican nominee. You wouldn't believe that Mike Pence is going to be the Republican nominee because an extent you believe in the polls. Ron DeSantis, he is sinking like a rock. So cue Fox News. Now they're going to start pushing Glenn Youngkin. And for this 2024, they said the dark horse 2024, Glenn Youngkin. Right now, I want to dig into the timeline of Hunter Biden's crimes because they are completely covering this up. The left is covering this up. I don't think it's a coincidence that CNN dropped this audio, although we had the transcript of this audio a long time ago. We now have the audio clip, and they think that it's a bombshell. It's not a bombshell. We've had this transcript of what Trump was discussing here when it came to these confidential documents in 2021. Then a little bit later, we will be talking about the San Francisco mayor attacking Ron DeSantis for calling the city a cesspool, claiming that there's drugs, poop. And look, she says that it's only a snapshot, that's a negative take on San Francisco. And folks, negative means reality. Okay. It's not negative to point out the reality of the situation. All this and more ahead on the Morning Buzz. All right, here we go. Let's get into it. Hunter Biden. Okay, let's go into the timeline here. This is an important timeline. October 12th of 2018. Hunter Biden, the first crime. We have a copy of a purchase, okay, from him trying to purchase this gun. It's a form, and he lied on this form about his illegal drug use. He himself has admitted to drug use on tape. There's several videos of him actually lighting up crack. I mean, there's this video. It's a rich video of him talking about a rehab program for drugs with his sister-in-law / lover. And he's talking about the rehab program at 9 a.m. in the morning. He's upset that the sister-in-law / lover, Haley Biden, contacts him at 9 a.m. to talk about the rehab program. And he's like, why are you calling me at 9 a.m. in the morning? And then he reaches for the crack pipe and starts smoking at 9 a.m. in the morning. Why do I want to go through Hunter Biden's timeline, the crimes here? Because Joe Biden and the media continue to run defense for Hunter Biden's illegal behavior. And Joe Biden was seen leaving the White House, I think a couple of days ago. Maybe it was yesterday, and he denied knowing anything about Hunter Biden's business dealings again. Okay, so now we have confirmation on everything that they're going to gaslight you about, and they're going to say that this isn't real. It is real. October 12th, we have the form. It's a copy um, of the purchase form that Hunter Biden lied on about his drug use. Okay, let's fast forward to October 23rd, 2018. Haley Biden, Hunter Biden's sister-in-law / lover, threw his gun in the trash can. So got rid of the evidence of the crime he committed because he obtained the firearm illegally because he lied on a form to get that firearm. The gun was found by a man rummaging through the grocery store's trash can. The Secret Service then tried to obtain the records from the gun store owner that gave him the gun, but they were denied, which tells you all you really need to know about the Secret Service. Like, how did you not get the records? And why are you looking for the records? Did you want to destroy the records, Secret Service? So, November 2019, okay, we've got the FBI. There's documentation where they verified the authenticity of the Hunter Biden laptop. They proved that the Hunter Biden laptop was real in 2019. So this is all while Trump is campaigning, okay? And the FBI knew it was real, knew the laptop was real in 2019. Then you go to 2020, and we can see that the New York Post got a hold of the laptop story because there was a computer repairman, blah, blah, blah. And they break the Hunter Biden laptop story. Rudy Giuliani went on the record, started showing conservative media outlets the actual hard drive of the laptop. People tried to say that that wasn't true, that it wasn't real. And the FBI went to people like Jack Dorsey and said that, hey, be expecting this New York Post article to be out there and you need to censor it because we haven't verified it. But as I told you back in 2019, the FBI did verify that this was in fact true. So Jack Dorsey, in March of 2021, admitted to blocking the New York Post article before Congress. Okay, that was in 2021. Now, he didn't go as far to say that the FBI in this case was at the behest of the FBI. We later found out that Jack Dorsey, Twitter, people at Twitter, through the Twitter files, and this was in 2022, right? December of 2022, the Twitter files confirmed that Twitter employees censored that story at the behest of the federal agency, the FBI. And in August of 2022, we had Zuckerberg admitting that the FBI preemptively contacted Facebook and told Mark Zuckerberg, hey, be on the lookout for this story and censor this story because we have not verified its authenticity. However, as I said back in 2019, we know that the FBI did verify the authenticity and found out that the Hunter Biden laptop was real. This was before the story even broke. Okay, now New York Post, they broke that story because of the computer repairman. And I want to point this out. If today, there was a computer repair guy or smartphone repair guy, and they got the cell phone of Donald Trump, right? Of Donald Trump, then all bets would be off. The reporters would be seething. They'd be animals. They would want that cell phone. They'd want to get that cell phone. Nobody wanted to report this story. They censored the story. The FBI, at the behest of the FBI, these platforms like Twitter and Facebook censored that story. Now, we go to June 2023. Fast forward to today, June 2023. Now we know that the DOJ has slowly walked out this investigation. They've deviated from normal protocol in prosecuting this case. This ensured that the statute of limitations would expire on Hunter Biden's 2014 and 2015 tax crimes. He was charged with misdemeanors. He did not get any kind of prison time for either the gun charge, which we know is anybody else who committed that kind of crime probably would have gotten 10 years. I don't care if he's the president's son. He has to abide by the law like everybody else. If I don't care, because at this time he wasn't even the president's son. He was the son of the former vice president. Okay, so at this time when he committed all of these crimes, he was the son of a former vice president. So 6 witnesses have now contradicted Merrick Garland, the Attorney General's sworn testimony, quote, that he did not interfere with the Hunter Biden investigation. Now, six witnesses have come out and they have said that Merrick Garland did interfere with this Hunter Biden investigation. There's been a whistleblower that has revealed this WhatsApp message from Hunter to a Chinese business partner called, he goes by the name of Henry Zhao. This WhatsApp message is very interesting because in this message, he indicates that Joe Biden is there with him, and he uses his father as almost a way to bully this Chinese oligarch into getting what he wants out of this business deal. Illegal, 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 illegal. I mean, I can't stress this enough. That's all illegal activity, illegal behavior. And do you still believe at this point that the DOJ, Joe Biden's DOJ, Joe Biden's Merrick Garland, Attorney General Joe Biden himself had nothing to do with Hunter's business dealing? Get real. Get real. Now, one thing that I do want to talk about a little bit later is how Kevin McCarthy has gone out there and has said, and I don't think that this audio that that CNN says that, is leaked exclusive audio, right? I don't think it's coincident that they put this out there at the same time that Kevin McCarthy is going after Merrick Garland and saying that he's going to impeach him. This is unprecedented. This is what I've been saying since the get-go. This is unprecedented to go after a former president in such a way as this over a procedural issue. We don't know if there's some sort of violation to protocol here with this audio. To be honest, judging by the audio clip here, I don't even think Trump really knows if he violated some sort of protocol. Point is, this audio, what's disturbing here is that they try to spin this story to make it like Trump committed all kinds of crimes. The point of this clip isn't that, Trump had a confidential document or whatever. The point of this clip is that we had generals, sitting generals. We had General Milley. We had people who are bloodthirsty bureaucrats, and they want to thrust new foreign wars on the American people at the expense of the American people. And they did this despite a sitting elected president that you and I elected, Donald Trump, duly elected in 2016 to serve us as the commander in chief. They tried to go around him and create plans to invade Iran, Iraq. I don't know, create some sort of foreign plan to do this war. And Donald Trump said, "Look, they're trying to say that I was for this. I'm not for this. They're the ones who created these plans behind my back, and they want all of these wars." And naturally, Donald Trump, he fired people like John Bolton because they were far too war hawkish. And why is it up to me to really? Why is it up to me and not the left? The left is traditionally they're the people who are like against the military complex, industrial complex. Why am I the one sitting here talking about the military industrial complex? But let's take a listen to this exclusive audio by CNN. Not exclusive because guess what? You know how I know it's not exclusive? I'm playing it here on the Morning Buzz. So chill out, CNN. It's not as exclusive as you think. And we already had the transcript of this audio. This is not a bombshell, like everybody is saying. Okay, this is not. Oh, this is a instrumental in the case against Trump. We've got him now. Let's take a listen to Anderson Cooper on CNN. Cooper.
We have obtained what is expected to be a central piece of the government's case against Donald Trump. The actual audio recording of the former president talking as if he's showing a highly classified document on U.S. war plans against Iran with people not clear to even know it exists, let alone what's in it. In a moment, only on CNN, you will hear what jurors will hear one day. The recording was made 2 summers ago, July 2021, at the former president's club in Bedminster, New Jersey. You will clearly hear the former president as he is speaking to several people. According to the special counsel's indictment, they include a writer working on Mark Meadows' memoir, the publisher, and 2 of Trump's staff members. The president was aware he was being recorded. This is the first time it is being played publicly.
These are bad, sick people.
That was your coup, against you.
Well, it started right at the beginning.
I do want to pause there because it's important to note that Anderson Cooper did say that he wasn't aware that he was being recorded. And then in the recording here, he does say that this is off the record. These people are not journalismers. They don't have journalistic ethics. Okay. In journalism school, they try to teach you to follow a code of ethics, SPJ, all kinds of different ones. There's INBA ones. There's all kinds of different ones that they want you to follow. My code of ethics, the Bible, the Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. So sorry, that's where my ethics come from, not bureaucracies and organizations that you have to pay to play. But these journalismers, they claim that they have journalistic ethics. Okay, they don't. These are gossipers. These are gossip hacks. Let's continue with the audio piece, shall we?
When Millie's talking about, oh, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in. That's right. Trying to overthrow your election.
Well, with Millie, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. Wow. We looked at some. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. It's pages long. Look. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
Yeah.
I just found, isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Except it is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. But look at this. You attack, and
Hillary would print that out all the time. You know?
she'd send
Private
it,
email.
she'd send it to
Yeah.
Anthony Weiner.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have it. A little bit of that audio there, and he says that these are confidential. Right now, confidential, meaning that you don't present it in the public eye. You don't present it in court. There are things that relates to national security. You can't disclose things that will cause harm to the United States and risk our national security. I get that. I'll be the first one to say, hey, if Donald Trump was trying to had intent to harm the American people by risking our national security by having these documents, then yes, sure, go after him. However, that is not the case here. These are confidential documents in the possession of a former president, and under the Presidential Records Act, he has the ability to take these documents. And, I don't think Donald Trump is clear about what is classified, what's not. He says they're confidential, highly confidential. I mean, for all we know, Donald Trump was holding up a napkin that said, plans to invade Iran on it. Right? Trump is bombastic. He exaggerates. Who knows if he actually had those documents in his possession even. We don't know that because it's not on video. It's on audio, right? And you don't know what he had in that room. And the real story, I think, that we're being distracted away from is that we have sick military generals who were trying to say that Donald Trump was for war, and he was the one that had these plans up, and he was saying, look, that wasn't me. These bureaucrats, these people, these generals, the sick military complex want foreign wars. You are living as an American with this foreign war in Ukraine, Russia. You're dealing with it every single day. You might not know it or realize it or care. However, you are dealing with it, right? The price of eggs, the price of wheat, the price of gas, it all goes up because they are spending money on this foreign war, and that causes inflation. Okay, this is when we are in times of war from overseas, right? If there are war, that is a big deal. There are children in Ukraine. I've had Ukrainian people in here, people from Ukraine, a Ukrainian pastor. His name is Vadim. He talked about how he was saving refugees, saved near, I think, 800 refugees so far, him and his organizations. But he talked about how the children in Ukraine can hear the missiles and the planes above their heads, and they can identify the type of missile just by the sound. That is terrifying. And you have Donald Trump there creating peace. He's in the middle of all of this, and then he's got the military industrial complex, these generals trying to push a war, and this guy actually prevented a war. Here's Donald Trump on tape proving that he has prevented a war that they were trying to start, these unelected bureaucrats and generals. So here's what Donald Trump said on Truth Social. The deranged special prosecutor, Jack Smith, working in conjunction with the DOJ and the FBI, illegally leaked and spun a tape and transcript of me, which is actually an exoneration. Rather than, folks, what they would have you believe. This continuing witch hunt is yet another, folks, election interference scam. They're cheaters and they're thugs. See, and I asked this question. Why did this leak this week? It's because they're distracting from the Hunter Biden crimes, just like they lied about the submarine being imploded on Thursday, when in reality it imploded on Sunday, and those people were way dead. There was no oxygen countdown. They were dead. This leak happened on the same day that Kevin McCarthy is looking to impeach Merrick Garland, and that is not a coincidence. I'll be back on the other side. Good morning, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in to the live stream. I so do appreciate it. If you're watching right now, smash the like button. All right, folks, we're going to be back. I'm going to be talking a little bit about this new Illinois law ending insurance restrictions on certain dog breeds. Going to share a story about a pit bull, actually. Now, a new law in Illinois will prevent homeowners and renters insurance companies from rejecting policies or charging more money for specific dog breeds. That goes way too far. Now, I will say you can't reject policies just based off of somebody's dog breed choice. Okay. I am a big advocate of big dogs, having a dog to protect you and your family, and having that Second Amendment right to bear arms. Part of bearing arms, I think, would be having a guard dog. Now, rejecting policies, no. I don't think an insurance company should reject you from a policy just because you have a certain type of dog. Now, charging you more money, yeah, sure. There is consequences that come with having a big dog breed, and I think big dog breed owners, they understand that and they will suck it up and pay the extra money. I mean, there's all kinds of added costs to having a large dog breed. They require a lot more training. They require a lot more attention, a lot more activity, right? So I agree with this law to an extent. Now, you can't force these companies to do these unfunded mandated things. Um, it's I'm not for unfunded mandates. However, um, it's just like uh, we can't be rejecting people their right to bear arms, and that's where your freedoms end. Is where your your freedoms end. Where what's that saying? Your freedoms end when they start to infringe on mine. So the insurance companies, your freedom to, pursue happiness and have, all the money in the world, right? It ends where you start to infringe on my freedoms. Well, this wasn't the results they were hoping for, folks. President Joe Biden and every living former U.S. president, every single one living former U.S. president, there's 5 of them, except Donald Trump, they're all descendants, direct descendants of slave holders. I don't think that Reuters, they did this whole thing. They did this whole study where they were trying to find people who were descendants of slave owners. And then here we go. President Joe Biden and every living U.S. president, this is according to Reuters, except Donald Trump, are direct descendants of slave owners. There were 5 living presidents that were descended from ancestors of slave owners. And then 2 Supreme Court justices, 11 governors, and 100 legislators. This is so funny. Jimmy Carter, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and through his white mother's side, Barack Obama. See, if you do a deep dive on the Democrat Party, folks, Barack Obama's ancestors owned slavery on his mother's side. Okay, Trump's ancestors came to America after slavery was abolished. So there you have it, folks. President Donald Trump is the only one who doesn't have ancestors who descended from slave owners. 309-451-9299. So why did this audio come out? They say it was exclusively from CNN. It's not exclusive, right? I just played the audio clip on the Morning Buzz, so it's not exclusive to CNN. It's available to the public. Why did this leak come this week? It's a distraction from the Hunter Biden crimes. This leak happened on the same day Kevin McCarthy was looking to impeach Merrick Garland. So here's Kevin McCarthy on Fox and Friends. Let's take a listen. Here we go.
Who's in on all this stuff? Good friend. He's all over the laptop. So will this prompt you to do a impeachment inquiry?
Well, you apparently don't follow me on Twitter because yesterday I laid out very, very clearly by July 6th, because of the allegations from the IRS, because of the whistleblowers and the DOJ are Garland, what he is saying and what David Weiss are saying privately are 2 different things.
Right.
And if it comes true what the IRS whistleblower is saying, we're going to start impeachment inquiries on the Attorney General.
Well,
Miranda Devine's.
There you have it. Okay, so Merrick Garland did have the ability to prosecute and investigate he didn't have any other prosecuting abilities in any other state besides Delaware. Okay, now this guy then asked for special prosecutor abilities so that way he could go probe in other places like California to see what was going on, and it was rejected. So basically what Merrick Garland was doing there from doing that, up trying to apply for these special prosecutor abilities, was he prevented the investigation from going any further. So we have 6 witnesses now saying that Merrick Garland did this, and the speaker, Kevin McCarthy, is saying, look, we have 6 witnesses who are saying that Merrick Garland hindered this investigation. They were actively trying to play defense for Hunter Biden. That's what these 6 witnesses are saying, and we are going to impeach Merrick Garland if what this IRS whistleblower, Gary Shapley, is according to the Post Millennial, testified is true, that U.S. Attorney David Weiss and others, Merrick Garland, obstructed their investigation into the Hunter Biden taxes because they were trying to delay this so that way it would be within the statute of limitations and they could charge Hunter Biden, which they did, with misdemeanors. They were actively interfering with an investigation into Hunter Biden. Okay, and Weiss says at one point that he would not decide if the prosecution should take place and that he would leave it up to the higher ups at the DOJ. So the U.S. attorney, right, David Weiss, said that he wasn't going to prosecute and that the DOJ, that's up to the DOJ, and that the DOJ then did this special prosecutor thing and they tried to probe in other states and you can't do that, and that was rejected, and then he tried to do it anyway, interfering with an election. And folks, this is not Merrick Garland's first offense. He called parents, by the way, parents who, like you, went to school board meetings. He said that you were all terrorists if you went to a school board meeting. This is about Joe Biden. This is about protecting Joe Biden. Hunter, to be clear, is a loser drug addict, and they're protecting Joe Biden. I don't know if y'all have ever seen the movie Horrible Bosses. It's hilarious. If you have, give me a text or comment on the Facebook, YouTube Live. I'm there streaming. You guys can see me in studio, but let me know if you've seen that movie, Horrible Bosses. So this guy, he has a boss. He's an older gentleman. The older gentleman dies, and he leaves the business to his crack coke riddled son, right? Where he's doing coke in the bathroom. And uh, in the movie, there's this scene where he says, "Look, I don't care about my dad's business. I don't care about the family legacy. All I really care about is getting served a drink on the beach with a beautiful girl, right? With a girl giving me a drink, and I care about my crack, my coke, and my cocaine, right? My crack cocaine. And I care about smoking and doing all the drugs that I can." That's what this son of the guy, and the movie Horrible Bosses is pretty funny. They, have a plot, these three guys to kill their bosses and stuff like that, which is really, it's a hilarious movie. But it reminds me of that. Hunter Biden is not at all the target, or a target of protection. They don't care about Hunter. Hunter, he gets thrown these, tasks for the family business, and, he screws them up epically because he is a loser. And we went through Hunter Biden's timeline here of his crimes and how the left has covered them up for years and years and years. Do want to shift gears. Let's talk about the San Francisco mayor. I got to take a break, but when we come back, we'll talk about the San Francisco mayor and how she is saying that Ron DeSantis calling her city a crime-filled, poop-infested city is not at all true, and that's just a snapshot. Oh, and don't forget the drugs. Ron DeSantis said that there's drugs there too. You can't forget about the drugs. She says that that's not fair to her and to her city, and that she actually has solutions. These two solutions, they have names, and they have over a century worth of elected office experience between the both of them. She name drops these two politicians who are the solution to the city's problem. We've got those names here next. Good morning. Hey, if you're watching right now, go ahead, smash that like button. And I will get to your comments here. Now, what do y'all think about this new law, the insurance, right? Where the insurance companies cannot reject or charge you more money if you have a large dog breed. I have a hot take on it. I think that it's kind of a good thing where insurance companies shouldn't outright object or reject your um, application for insurance, and they shouldn't just outright reject you and say we're not going to insure you on the basis that you have a German Shepherd. That's totally not cool. Or on the basis that you have a pit bull, because that is infringing on your Second Amendment rights, your right to bear arms, your right to pursue happiness, right? And these companies are in the pocket of government, and they do this on behest of the government. That's a big problem if they don't want you to have dogs. A dog is an asset. I believe that dogs, yes, you can have the pet, the companion, but I think everybody should make an investment and get a big dog to protect themselves, and train that dog to protect themselves or to protect your family. So, um, insurance companies outright denying you or denying you a home, not taking your application if you have a dog of that size, if a big dog breed, right? That's not fair. I think that that's infringing on people's right to have a dog. Now, in these small apartments, right? Maybe that's if there's a different reason why these people are prohibiting you from having a big dog. It might just be because simply the space. Typically, dog owners of big breeds understand that there's consequences and that you might have to pay more if you want a large dog breed. You have to pay more anyway to feed the thing. You have to also pay for more training. Shock collars are expensive, collars, leashes, leads, things like that. That's all more expensive, and people get that as big dog owners. So Yeah, I think they went way too far with this legislation. I wouldn't have voted for it. However, I think that there is similar legislation in the state of Florida. Um, what's that law? It's called the Dangerous Dogs Law. So Florida recently passed a similar legislation by making changes to the state's dangerous dog law. So I think that this is needed. However, not for the reason that Democrats say. They say there's harmful stereotypes, blah blah blah. No, people need to understand that large dogs, they are not fluffy, they are not pets, right? They are an asset. And I think that there needs to be conversation changed when it comes to large dog breeds, and more people should have large dog breeds, especially if you're not going to have a gun. Um, so this Democrat out of Aurora, she goes, "This measure would help ensure that all dog owners are treated fairly within the certain insurance market." And it's like, no, it's an unfunded mandate, and you're going to wind up raising the rates of other people. I think it goes way too far. I think that insurance companies should be able to charge you a little bit more money. Now, gouging you, right, is not the way to do it for a specific dog breed. But if there's a fee, I think that most pet owners understand that if you have a larger dog, that comes with more risk. There was a Republican who says we bring into it consequences, and in this case, just as insurance companies rate based on factors such as male, female, occupation, weight, driving habits, type of car you drive, whether you skydive, they do that so that way they can offer the lowest rates possible, right? So if you do all these different things that have more risks, that's what these insurance companies do, so that way, they don't have to charge you. I mean, if you haven't, it's going to take more to insure a car that goes a million miles an hour. Okay, like that's just the way it's the reality we live in. Well, this just in, folks. Turns out that whole alleged document from Trump Audio in Bedminster is not a part of the DOJ charges. So CBS News has learned that Trump is not being charged for keeping that specific document that he was talking about in the tape. So um, this just in, right? This is not a part of the DOJ. Trump has said that he has done nothing wrong and repeated that while he was on the campaign trail here in New Hampshire yesterday. Trump said we had a lot of papers stacked up. In fact, if you could hear the rustle of the paper, and nobody said I did anything wrong. Trump was trying to do this thing when, they said that, he violated all kinds of protocol by having these classified documents. Trump has consistently said he declassified all the records he took from the White House. Yes, because the Presidential Records Act tells us that he can do that. Meanwhile, talking heads and pundits have said that the recording could be used against Trump as evidence of wrongdoing, claiming that he had the document with him when he was discussing the plan. The indictment against Trump for this willful retention of national defense information includes a transcript of the conversation, and it has been assumed that those individuals who Trump had allegedly spoken to had been interviewed by the DOJ. So this is not. This is so funny that the CBS News learns that Trump has not been charged for keeping the document he was talking about on that tape. So this is even more of a nothing burger than I thought it was. Okay, so they aren't even talking about this specific document. This isn't even a part of the indictment. So this might lead to another, and I don't know. But this is so ridiculous. I do want to shift gears. Let's talk about this new Illinois law. I think it goes too far. A new law in Illinois will prevent homeowners and renters insurance companies from rejecting policies or charging more money for specific dog breeds. I have a German Shepherd. I like big dogs. I think that everybody should have a big dog because that's your Second Amendment right to bear arms. And I think that everybody needs to understand that a big dog isn't necessarily a cute, cuddly pet. This is a dog that is designed to protect and designed to protect the home. Okay, once we start to understand that, then we start to see, hey, insurance companies are actually infringing on your right to bear arms if they deny you homeowner insurance or renter's insurance because you have a big dog. Okay, they shouldn't reject those policies or say that you cannot pay money. Now, I think it goes too far here, this law, where they say, they won't allow insurance companies to charge you more money for specific dog breeds. Dog owners of big breeds, they understand consequences. They understand that big dogs come with risk. They are very unpredictable. Unless you do some good training and you train the dog well, right? But there's risks that come with that. People understand that you might have to pay more if you want to house a dog of that size. Okay, that's just the way it goes. Just like you have to pay for a gun, you have to pay for a dog that is used to guard your home. Currently, insurance companies have discretion to refuse or remove or modify coverage based on the breed of a dog of a pet owner's dog, right? Based on the breed alone. Rejection or refusal, that is infringing on my right to keep and bear arms. I view a dog as an asset. I view a dog as a protector. I am for the cute, cuddly dogs. It's fine. If you've got them, great. But you should also invest in a big dog to protect your home and train that dog to protect you, especially if you're renting. A lot of times when I'm a renter, I don't own a home here in Bloomington Normal. I rent. But what a lot of times I think in the back of my head, my gun, right? If I have a gun, I don't know who has keys to that place. I do know, that the dog is going to be there no matter what and, will protect me. So sometimes people, won't do a gun because they're afraid of, people who have keys to the place. If you're renting, you have no idea who will come in and take your guns, commit crimes with them, all that, right? You have to think about these things when you're renting. When you have a dog, it's sad that people refuse your application to rent places if you have a large dog. Uh, Now I understand paying more because when you have to pay more because big dogs make a mess. We understand that if you're a big dog owner, and big dogs come with a lot of risk. And Democrat says, "Oh, these harmful stereotypes." No, it's not about the stereotypes. It's not about equality, fairness. Big dog owners understand that they have to be treated fairly, and by being treated with respect to, hey, this is the consequences that come when you have a big dog. We understand that. Okay, it's not about stereotypes. It's not about feels. We're about the reals. Okay. However, when you infringe on people's rights to own a dog, and you refuse them service because they have a dog, or refuse them insurance policies because they have a dog, I understand paying more for that dog, right? So the Republican here, he says, we bring it bring into it consequences, and in this case, just as insurance companies rate based on factors such as male, female, occupation, weight, driving habits, reality, right? That's what they're in the business of. Reality. They charge you certain amounts based off of what you've got going on, and they offer lower rates to people who don't take risks. Okay, that's the facts. That's the world we live in. Now, to point this out, Florida recently passed some similar legislation. I don't think Florida went as far as Illinois did. So Illinois went way too far. They did this unfunded mandate, and I don't like the law. Read through it a little bit. I think it goes way too far. No insurance company shouldn't refuse you a policy just because you have a big breed. But Illinois takes it a step further. They said that insurance companies can't even charge you a little bit more because you have the big dog. Big dogs come with added costs. Okay, that's just the way reality goes. You have to get. They cost more. They eat more. They they poop more. There's just more when you have a big dog, and I think big dog owners realize that. And it's not to hurt you; it's to help you. The dog could bite somebody. All right. Do have to take a break. We're going to come back, talk about the San Francisco mayor. Yes, 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 yes. So, big dogs, right? I have, in my experience, big dog owners tend to understand how important training is in comparison to like somebody who has a little dog. And little dogs get away with a whole lot because they're messes, right? They're not as big. It's not that big of a problem if they tinkle a little bit on the floor because it's like you take a napkin and it's gone, right? But when a big dog pees, it's like like your floor is ruined. Uh, even that, right? But I find that people who have big dogs tend to be people who understand that that big dog is an asset and more so of a property. It's property. It's a weapon. It's something to protect your home with. Um, like that's just the reality that big dog owners live in. A lot of times what I find is like people with little dogs. No beef against people with little dogs. I like little dogs. They're nice companions, they're pets. Okay. There's a difference between having a big dog as an asset and thinking that you can get a big dog and have it as a pet. You have to start thinking about these big dogs as if they are uh, assets and they are weaponry, right? You would treat this dog like any other form of property that you have that is a weapon. You put more money into your guns so that way they don't hurt people. You clean it, the rags, the oil, it all costs. Gun, um, the gun safes, right? It's all cost, an added cost to having weaponry. Okay, so people need to get that through their heads, and that's what insurance companies have refused to get through their heads. You can't refuse somebody insurance just because they have a weapon. Okay, right to bear arms is a real thing. But there are certain people that should own a Russian Mastiff, need to be very experienced with these types of dogs. Yeah, you have to realize that there's more training that goes into having a big dog, and that there is more money to having a big dog. That's just the way the consequences go. Outright, saying in this law or in this Illinois law that you cannot charge more, the insurance companies can't charge more for people who have big dogs is kind of insane to me. That's really a jump. Um, Clarifying and saying, hey, you can't refuse somebody insurance if they want to pay insurance on their home or on their rent where they're renting. You cannot refuse them insurance because that's not fair because a lot of things you have to have insurance for. Like I don't know if homeowners insurance is mandated. I'm pretty sure it is in the state of Illinois where you have to have homeowners insurance. um, I know you have to have car insurance in the state of Illinois. I'm pretty sure it's the same. Throw in the comments if you're watching. If you know whether or not you have to have homeowners insurance. I should Google it, but yeah. It's the morning buzz. 309-451-9299. You can text in, be a part of the show. You can comment. I've got some comments rolling in here. One comment, they've got, hey, most often I find that dog training includes people training on how to handle their dog. Little dogs tend to be more apt to bite before a big dog will. So yeah, I think big dog owners understand that, hey, more training, more money. Big dog owners take a little bit more responsibility because the consequences are much, much that of larger if the dog does something wrong. You have to start thinking of the dog as an asset. There's nothing wrong with little dogs. They're good pets. However, right, the legislation here in Illinois, it's a new law that ends insurance restrictions of all types on certain dog breeds. That's what we were talking about. I have to go. This is a packed show. You guys have a great rest of your day. We'll do it again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Glenn Beck is on after me, and then Dan Bongino.